So the driver reported that the Casspir's tyre was losing pressure.
No, I think that's...
I don't think you can just sidewalk, can you?
No, you can't keep in a
Can you
side.
just check that we get the wheel aligned and then we'll clear all that?
The only problem was that nobody around us had ever changed a Casspir tyre before, and the boys we had as volunteers, well, they'd all been born after the end of the war. They had no idea how to start. But the boys were willing and enthusiastic. And with willingness and enthusiasm, well, I think you can win a war, if you're lucky. So they all put their heads together and made a plan, figured out more or less intuitively where to start and what had to come next. It was a bit of deliberation, but it's straightforward enough if you think about it. The only problem was that I think some of the essential tools were missing, and the winch was a little bit rusty. Under operational conditions, this tyre would have been changed in a matter of merely minutes. But this time it took some thinking. At least we had an old sergeant major with 41 years of experience in Panzer, and he was ready to stand by to direct and just oversee so that nobody actually got killed or seriously wounded. He himself, though, had never worked in Casspir's, so it was a little bit new for him also. The main problem was that the lowering winch kept getting stuck, and I'm pretty sure we had exactly the wrong tool for the job. Whatever spanner or sling is used to lower it down certainly was missing from the toolkit, and I kept worrying that the thing might slip or unhook and fall on somebody. Luckily, that never happened. And then the trusty Leatherman had to come to the rescue. Leathermans didn't exist, I'm sure, during the time of the border war, but if they had, they possibly might have been included in toolkits as well, because they're eminently useful everywhere, from fixing the International Space Station right down to repairing a Casspir during tourist conditions on a very foggy morning at Sandstone Estates in the Eastern Free State of South Africa. There's always a part of the problem that nobody thinks about in advance, and in this case, the second part of the problem was how to get the old tyre mounted back onto its original bracket. Not as easy as one would think. So let me tell you a little bit about what a Casspir actually is. The Casspir is a mine-resistant troop carrier that was used during the South African border war in the 1980s, and it is in fact still in use in South Africa, especially by the police. I once asked one of the old artillery colonels what the enemy thought of us. He said he actually asked some captured enemy soldiers in Angola, who did they fear the most? I said, do you fear us? They said the army. No way. He said, we always knew that you'd only pursue us up to a certain point on a map and then you'd turn around and come back home. But the police, called Kufut, in their Casspirs, if they picked up our tracks, we knew they would pursue us with no end. From day to day, they'd stay on top of our tracks through the sandy bush, and we always knew that there was only one way we'd be returning back home again, and that was as a dead body tied to one of the mudguards of a Casspir vehicle. These vehicles were formidable, and even when I was a boy, they were still being used right through my school years as a school bus to transport some of the children from the Mahamba border on Swaziland to my high school at Piet Retief. Well, with a Casspir fixed, she went happily along her way, top speed of almost 100 kilometers per hour on a good level surface like we have here. A formidable vehicle, very strong, very durable, lovely.